Good morning. Excuse me. I don't have coronavirus, so I just have a cold. Don't have the virus yet. Um, okay, so today we're kind of approaching the end of the term. I just thought we would do well to just kind of give you like an FYI type lecture. This it's not obviously what I want to be doing, especially for the advanced class, but we're kind of in a weird pinch. I've just had so many people hit me up with just confusing requests and things like that about what's going on with previous assignments and things like that. And so I figured we're at the end of the term, essentially with fall break here, and then 2 half days next week or whatever we have, 2 weeks and then half days rather, or 2 days and then half weeks. Excuse me, geez. So with that, I'm just going to kind of give us, we're going to have a little chat about the types of cameras that we have on the market today. This will sort of culminate in a quiz next week, which will be our final assignment for the semester. Okay, so today is just sort of a pay attention to the lecture and understand the differences of all the cameras that we're talking about, and then you should be fine. So by and large, we exist in 4 major categories. We have mobile devices, we have point and shoots, we've got digital SLRs, and then we have mirrorless cameras. Okay, so obviously the kind of the easy one that you're familiar with would be mobile devices, right? So I've got my iPhone whatever 11 here, right? Mobile devices and what we call like an action camera or like a GoPro, for all our intents, are categorized the same. So a GoPro is equitable to an iPhone. So category 1, really easy: mobile devices, tablets, iPads, phones, the Sphero things that you use to take global pictures. There's a lot there. Next up, we have point and shoots. Point and shoots used to kind of just be junk. They've really come up. This one in particular, Fuji, as a brand, you guys know I have an affinity to Fuji, but as a brand, they've really emphasized this camera. Actually, kind of, it doesn't matter. I'll stop that. Point and shoots. Point and shoots are real easy. They sort of take all the hard work and knowledge out of photographing. They just are kind of bare bones basic, right? You point, you aim, you focus, and you take a video if you're me right now. Let's fix that. But right, you point and shoot. Now point and shoots typically have had like a bad rep, right? They've been sort of the junk camera for a long time because there's no work involved. It feels pretty similar to a phone in a lot of respects. For example, you can, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, sure. You can just look at the back of the screen to take the picture, right? And for a long time, point and shoots were that way until a couple companies started putting viewfinders on them. And this is a neat one because it has both an optical viewfinder, which makes it a rangefinder actually, and then it has an electronic viewfinder. So point and shoots, though, the basic like entry-level stuff. Not to say that they're entry-level costs. They're as cheap as a couple $100, and this one's like 13. And then actually Leica even makes a couple point and shoots, and the Q2 is a $5,000 point and shoot. So it's not to say that they're crappy little cameras anymore. They have an array just like every other lineup does. So point and shoots. So mobile devices, point and shoots, okay? Then we have our cameras that we're all familiar with, the SLR. The SLR stands for single lens reflex, which we should all know by now. But what that's in reference to is that it has one lens. And this lens will do both the focusing as well as the actual recording of the image onto the sensor, okay? Now, where the term SLR stems from is because at one point in time, we did have a TLR, which was a twin lens reflex camera. Reflex just means that mirror pops up when you take the picture. It's reflexing, right? So at one point in time, we did have the twin lens reflex. Now, if you look, you I'll try and put my hand. Hang on, it's all reversed. See, there's my hand. You can see it in the lens. Now that lens is this one. It's that top lens. That was the focusing lens. Trying to see where it is in focus. This lens is the focusing lens. And in fact, you would look down this viewfinder to take a look at what you were trying to take a picture of. And then they had all these sort of fancier things. You had a loop, a magnification loop. And then for sports mode on a TLR, which is the silliest thing you've ever heard, right? They had this little square where you could actually see what you were doing before you would hit the shutter release. But the point is, you had twin lenses. You had a lens up here, which was your focusing lens, and this one recorded it to the film. The SLR, the single lens, this is doing it in both with one action, right? So when I look here, the image here, which are these computers here to my right, is being sucked up by the lens. It's traveling through here. It hits this mirror right about here, and then it shoots up to the pentaprism up here, and then that pentaprism sends it to my eyeball. Okay, and then when we take the picture itself, all right, we would get this mirror in there, which actuates when we take the picture. Okay, and that's that reflex for single lens reflex. So the SLR has been around since the 50s, and the DSLR obviously has been around since about 2000-ish. In there, 2000, 2005 is when it sort of really, the digital market really emerged. Now, the thing about the SLR is that here I've got this crappy little Vivitar film camera and this. These principally work the same. It's just this records to film, this records to a sensor, right? So not a lot has really changed in the SLR. And that's by design. People really like it, and they have liked it for many, many years. But this emerging camera, which we call the mirrorless camera, which is the next major category, okay, is really kind of taking over. The SLR, I think his days are numbered. Days are numbered. I would say honestly, by in 5 years, by 2025, we will see that Canon offers maybe 2 of these SLRs. And they'll have 5 of the mirrorless cameras. Now, the primary difference between the mirrorless and the SLR is how you view the images when you're focusing. They still record images with an actuating shutter, but when I look through the lens of my SLR here, I'm actually looking through optics. I'm looking through glass, okay? But on a mirrorless camera, I'm not. I'm looking through a digital projection in the viewfinder. So this hits the sensor, records it, processes it, and then projects it up to the viewfinder. So that when I put my eyeball up there, I'm viewing this. It's just in there, really small. Okay. So EVF, electronic viewfinder, or OVF, optical viewfinder, is your primary difference between a mirrorless camera and an SLR. Okay, these are being preferred even by me. Not that I'm the end-all, be-all, but I do work a lot, and so that's worth something to say that having used SLRs for more than 15 years, and then switching to EVF to mirrorless is something of a big deal, because you get a lot invested into one system. So anyway, I really enjoy shooting with a mirrorless camera now, because when I look through the viewfinder, I'm getting an actual preview of what my image will look like. When you look through here, you're just seeing the world around you, and you have to trust the meter at the bottom to let you know that it's going to be over or underexposed. But you don't get a preview per se until you take the picture, and then look at it on the back of your screen. Here, I look through it and I can see it, and then I take the picture and it's exactly what I saw up here. Okay. So mirrorless, you will sometimes see abbreviated as MILC, which stands for mirrorless interchangeable lens camera, because the lenses on MILC on mirrorless are interchangeable, right? Here you can see that shutter actuate, right? So it does it just the same as any other camera does, but just how we view it is different. Anyway, so mirrorless interchangeable lens camera, MILC, is the long-term abbreviation, but we just call them mirrorless cameras. Okay, that's really it. Again, our 4 categories would be mobile devices, so iPhones, GoPros, whatever, point and shoots, DSLRs, and then mirrorless cameras. Okay, so big 4 categories for us that we care about. So have a terrific fall break. I'm trying to get you guys, because it seems like most of you are happy with where you're at, so trying to get you at like a freezing point with grading so that you don't freak out and be like, oh no, we've got 14 things due here. Because looking at, you know, I'm not going to obviously name names, but looking at many of your aggregate grades, you all have a buttload of work to do in other classes. And listen, I know where my class sits in the pecking order of things. It's an elective. I teach photo. It's terrific. So you shouldn't be failing my class because, frankly, it shouldn't be that hard. But, you know, if you need the time to spend in other classes, like I'm trying to let that happen for you. So hit me up on Zoom if you have any questions, or send me an email, something like that. Whatever you need to do to get in touch with me if you need help, please do so. And I will see you all very soon. Stay healthy, stay safe, do good things, be good people. See ya.